Hi everyone, welcome back to the bilingual channel Decoding with Sir Long. I'm Sir Long here, a phone banker turned educator with over 6 years of experience of teaching mathematics. Here we are going to slice it, decode it and crush it together. Before we begin, I would like to share something from my heart. Every video on this channel, from the editing, topic selection and content design to even the filming setup, is done entirely by myself. It could be considered one-man show. So if you are a student who happens to come across my channel, I actually hope you can take just 3 seconds time to hit the like and subscribe buttons. The small gesture means a lot and helps you stay updated with all the latest lessons I'll be sharing here. Your likes and subscriptions are my greatest motivation to keep creating videos. Today, I'm going to teach you all how to deal with the question involving Form 5 Chapter 5 Trigonometric Functions. Every year, the question involving sine, cosine and tangent is always appearing on either section A or B or even C. Are you ready? Hey, hold on. Please take out a calculator and follow me. Here we go.
Hi all of you, welcome back to the channel Decoding Sir Long. Okay, alright, Sir Long is here to help you solve this question, and this question is actually extracted from SBB Trial Paper 2. Under section B, question number is 14. Actually, the question is about the topic of ratio and graph of trigonometric functions. Actually, this is what we have learned in Form 5 syllabus. Alright, the level of the question, based on my view, is considered the level between easy and intermediate. Alright, but as long as you are able to understand the underlying theories, I believe that the question is quite easy to all of you. Alright, so let's follow me right now. Okay, the sub-question A. The question is pretty straightforward. Complete the table in answer space and sketch the graph y equal to 3 cosine 2s for the interval between 0 degree and 180 degrees. And this question gives you 4 marks. And look at here. There are 2 templates provided for you to answer the question. And the first table is about there's a list of s value and let you find the corresponding y value one by one. And the second template is to let you sketch the graph for this function. Alright, so before we start the question, let's do a quick revision by referring to the content of your textbook right now. Okay, please turn to your textbook of page 192. And look at here, this is a summary table. And the table is about the graphs of sine, cosine and tangent for the interval between 0 degree and 360 degrees. And for this question, alright, since it's about the cosine function, and we are going to look at the second column, okay, which is y is equal to cosine s. And you can see the shape of the graph is the U-shaped curve, am I right? And the whole period is 360 degrees. Alright, so down to here, I believe that you all have a question what the period is about. Okay, the period of the graph is as long as the period is able to touch the maximum point, the minimum point, and then back to the original point. And then we can find that this period is for the original graph under this trigonometric function. And for this cosine function, the period is 360 degrees. And of course, right, let me repeat one more time. The maximum value based on this graph is 1, is here at the original point. And the minimum value is here when the angle is 180 degrees, and then we can find that the value is -1. Okay, where is s-intercept? S-intercept is actually the point that is intersected with the s-axis. So can you find that the intercept is 90 and 270 degrees if the formula is original? Okay, this is the condition. And y-intercept is where the graph is intersected with y-axis. So it's actually 1, okay, at the beginning point. Okay, since we are very familiar with this part right now, and we are going to solve the question right here. Okay, so how to find the corresponding 5 y values? Okay, we are going to copy down the formula first. Y is equal to 3 cosine 2s. Alright, so please follow my advice. When I talk about this to my students, I always tell them that please do it slowly a bit. If you find one of the wrong corresponding y values here, you won't be able to sketch a correct graph right then. Okay, so the first value s is 0 degree, right? We just simply substitute the value into this formula, and then with the brackets, remember, back to form mathematics, we are going to substitute any value in. Please put brackets, don't forget it. Alright, so 3 cosine 2 open bracket 0 closing bracket is equal to what? Is what? 3 times 1 equals to 3. And we know that when the angle is 0 degrees, under the cosine function, the value is actually 1. Okay, so we do the same thing for the rest of the rest of the 4 corresponding values. Okay, so when the angle is 45 degrees, we are going to substitute the value in. So 3 cosine 2 open bracket 45 closing bracket, and 2 times 45 is equal to 90, right? So when the angle is 90, the cosine value must be 0. 0 times 3 is 0, 0. So then you can just do it faster a bit on this part. Okay, what about the third corresponding y value? Alright, we just keep doing the same thing. Remember, don't make any mistake right here because this part is quite easy. But of course, right, it's also easy to make mistake lah, okay? And answer is -3 for third corresponding value. We know that cosine 180 degrees is equal to -1. -1 times 3 is equal to 3. Sorry, -3. And what about the fourth corresponding y value? We do the same thing again. Cosine 270 degrees is equal to 0. So 3 times 0 is equal to 0. Alright, what about the last one? Cosine 360 degrees is equal to 1 times 3 equals to 3. Okay, so down to here, we obtain all corresponding y values. And once you have done, we make a double confirm that all values are correct, and you can start sketching the graph right now. Okay, look at next. Before we start sketching the graph, remember, I need to remind to all of you that the number of pair s and y is equal to the number of the dots you are supposed to plot on the graph. So look at this table. How many pairs of s and y? Is actually 5 pairs, right? Okay, so remember, the graph you are supposed to plot 5 dots so that you can make a complete answer. Okay, before we start, you have to know that you must be able to label the correct value on x-axis and y-axis. So let's start with y-axis. Look at here. We know that based on this table, the maximum value is 3 and the minimum value is -3. Am I right? So remember, okay, look at this table, and we can find that, okay, one box means 1 as the value, and starting from here 0, right, up to the third box, right, and the value is 3. From the 0 down to the third box is equal to -3. Okay, once you have labeled these two values on the y-axis, let's move on to the labels on the x-axis right now. Since we know that there are 5 x value, am I right? 0, 45, 90, 135, and 180, right? And then we just do it accordingly. Okay, so this is how we are supposed to label these 5 values. Okay, 0, 45, 90, 185 degrees, and 180 degrees. Okay, once you have labeled all right, you can obtain the second mark on this question, and we are going for next. Okay, as mentioned just now, on this graph, we have 5 dots. And then the first dot is where? It's right here, right? And where is the second dot? Since s is 45, y must be 0, so it's actually the intersecting part here. And what about the point? The third dot, -3 here. And the fourth dot is here. And the last dot is here. Okay, back to the original point. So the whole period is completed. Okay, alright, so the third mark is given for you if you are able to plot all dots at the correct position on the graph. Okay, then what's the last mark? The last mark is you are supposed to know how to sketch a smooth curve or U-shaped curve on this template. Alright, so this is the way we are supposed to sketch the graph. Okay, and this is the final answer. And look at there, the way we sketch the graph is we are not supposed to use a ruler to sketch the graph because right, it's a curve instead of a straight line. You are supposed to make the curve bounding outwards or inwards all the way until the end. So this is what I can suggest to all of you. Remember, don't use ruler to draw any graph involving trigonometric functions. Okay, so the whole sub-question A has been completed like this. So far so good, all of you. If you are okay with that, let's move on to next question. State the period of trigonometric function y equals to tangent 3s minus 1. Okay, so back to the very original part. Okay, we know, look at the last column, right? And this is the graph for the tangent. The graph is a bit special as compared to the graph for sine and cosine. Okay, so how shall we find this period? Okay, actually, this is the page that I have extracted from the page of 188 of your textbook. And look at here, there's a paragraph that you can make yourself clear with how to find the period for tangent. Okay, look at that point, it's about the value of b, am I right? The period of sine and cosine function is equal to 360 degrees divided by b, and the period of the tangent function is equal to 180 degrees divided by b. So that means, right, the whole period for tangent function is actually 180 degrees only. It's half of that for sine and cosine function. Okay, once you have made it clear, we are going to next. Okay, because right, briefly speaking, why the basic period of tangent is equal to 180 degrees? Because the tangent x plus pi is equal to how many degrees? 180 degrees, right? It's still equal to the degree itself. So therefore, we just cut it by half, then make it clear and more efficient. And so this is the way you find the period of tangent function. Okay, then is the original template for the formula when we are going to deal with the trigonometry function. Okay, y is equal to a tangent bx plus c. A, b, c are constant value. Okay, and look at here, since we are going to look for the period only, and I just extract the 3s down to here. And since we know the whole period for tangent is 180 degrees, and we are going to form a very simple equation right here. 3s equals to 180 degrees, and we just do a simple division. That's equal to 60 degrees for the value of x on this question only. So the whole marks is 2 marks for this question. Okay, it's not so difficult to understand, just like you have to know the concept and the point that you have learned from the textbook. Okay, so far so good, right? And let's move on to the last question right now. Okay, look at the last sub question. Diagram 9 shows a graph of y equal to a sine bs plus c for the interval between 0 degrees and 180 degrees. And please state the value of a, b, and c from the graph. So this is the way we are going to divide it. Okay, we know that based on this graph, the maximum value is 2, am I right? And the minimum value is -4, is it? Okay, a means what? A is actually amplitude of the graph. What does amplitude mean? Amplitude means that it's the maximum extent of a vibration or oscillation. So you can find that this is the meaning that a maximum extent of wave, okay, a curve on the graph, simply speaking. Alright, so how we find the A value is we are going to find the highest value or maximum value of this graph and the minimum value of this graph, and then divided by 2. Okay, before that we have to do a subtraction. So this is the way I find the value. 2 minus -4, and then obtain the result divided by 2. Answer is positive 3. Okay, so first mark for you right now. And what about the second mark? How to find B? B is about the period, right? the basic period of sine is 360 degrees. And therefore, the way we find it is, we are going to use this formula, okay? 360 degrees divided by the period on the given graph. Then, since we know that the whole period on this graph is 180 degrees, right? Then we are going to do a simple division. Then b value is actually 2. Okay, so we just try to reverse the theory that you have learned from the sub-question B. Alright, so what about C here? Okay, C is actually about the position of the graph changes, right? When C is positive, the graph moves C units vertically up along the x-axis. However, when the C is less than 0, the graph moves C units vertically down along the x-axis. So look at here, we can find that the C is actually -1 because, originally speaking, if the formula for the sine function, the original position must be 0. When we see this graph on the question, we can find that the value is down to -1. So that means this whole graph was moved vertically down by 1 unit along the x-axis. So the whole thing is pretty straightforward. For C, actually you don't need to do a more complicating calculation. Just look at this graph and recognize the value. That's all. Okay, it's all about the whole question involving trigonometric functions under the Form 5 syllabus. I hope that you all can practice well. And remember, as mentioned before, the textbook contents are very sufficient to let you do a quick revision and do the revision for the final round before the SPM Mathematics date. Okay, so see you.
Well, here's the end of the episode 5. In the last 22 days, I'll try my best to analyze those important and hot topics that will come out on this year's SPM Mathematics paper with the hot trial papers. In next episode, I will talk about fire insurance. Once again, please like and click the subscribe button so you won't miss the updates. Thank you for watching and see you all next time. Goodbye.